there's no video. You're just going to have our audio. So hopefully you guys can still hear us. Let me know. I just fired back up the live stream here. So we'll see if you guys can hear us. I know that you are having a tough time seeing us, but on the live stream, let us know in the chat if you can still hear us. So we want to be able to still at least talk to you guys about what we are seeing here in terms of these storms as they come through. So Broadlands down to Newman, Georgetown to Chrisman, that area there where severe thunderstorm warnings are still in effect. And again, the storm itself has weakened here a little bit. Again, okay, so we're telling you guys can hear us. It's just kind of choppy on the audio. We're going to do our best here to still try to talk to you guys on the stream. Again, the camera feed is still not good for those that are watching on the stream. But I know there's a lot of people still watching on TV, so we'll hang here with you and keep trying to let you guys know what's going on. If you're in Danville right now, the worst part of that storm is to your south and west. So you've still got this kind of core of some of the worst of it that's here right on the Vermilion and Champaign County line. The southeastern corner of Champaign County is where this is. The strongest part of it, but it has definitely weakened. It's not, I don't want to say it's weak. It is not as strong as what it once was, but it's still quite powerful in terms of the heavy rainfall, in terms of the lightning. And that's the other thing. The lightning with this has just been incredible. How many lightning strikes, constant lightning, one after another, where we're getting that. And so we'll have to start looking at our some of our cameras here in Danville that might be able to give us a better idea of what to expect. Kirby and Neal. There's a vehicle stuck there at Kirby and Neal. Yeah. So you go, so the underpass, what do you want to call it? As you go under there, they were talking about our morning director just let us know that there's a car that's stuck down there because of all the heavy rainfall that came through there, and we have it in the studio here too. Here's our studio here that has several inches of water. Is it in the newsroom? Okay, yeah. So it's actually through a lot of the studio here, into the newsroom, into our control room. I can't believe that we're still even able to do what we're doing here right now. Our online stream is messed up, but we're still on TV here with you guys. But what is it? Neal. Yeah. Sure. We're Panera and Kirby, Madison Kirby. Yeah. A lot of flooded areas there. Sure. Yeah. So the whole area there, Neal Street flooded, and that obviously we got impacted by it here. Back there, I mean, that's back in our control room. That's back there as well. It's amazing that we're still on the air here, but we're doing what we can here to stick with you guys, our production crew back there, doing what they can to also continue to bring you coverage here. But it's a mess here. We're going to have to clean stuff up. So this is just, it's kind of an indicator of what you can expect if you are down the line, because of just how heavy the rainfall is. There's our newsroom. That's our newsroom that has water flowing into it right now as well. Oh goodness, what a mess that we're dealing with here. But as they say in show business, the show must go on, and that's exactly what we're going to do here for you guys. And well, I'm sure we'll have the morning show on as well at 5 o'clock here in 3 hours. We'll have the very latest on any damage. You know, Muhammad got hit pretty hard with some hail. There was, I think, probably a tornado southeast of Leroy. There was indications of that earlier tonight. So kind of the big stories are, I think, really the heavy rainfall, the constant lightning. I haven't heard, if anybody's houses got hit or anything, but there were thousands and thousands of lightning strikes, and so it is definitely a possibility. You had the potential tornado, and then you had the heavy rainfall, and you had that hail that really was coming down in Mahomet on the west side of Champaign there as well. All of those locations that got hit pretty hard, and so now the biggest concern is with what's left of this. And then I just want to kind of back things out because we had been watching this other cell south and west of Springfield. So we've got that we're still watching, and there's still severe thunderstorm warning down there in two portions of Macoupin and Montgomery counties there as well. But there's kind of two areas, and they're kind of wedged in between. You haven't seen much in Decatur and Shelbyville and Charleston and whatnot. There was kind of like two distinct areas there where we had storms tonight, and one consisted there. Yeah, we took the camera as they were walking around the building. They're showing. I mean, floating. Well,
I will say this: I talked to Darren, our engineer, and I don't think my mic is on. I'll have to stand close.
Yeah, you're good.
Maybe they can pull my mic back on. I just took my batteries out, or maybe that's me. No, that's me.
You try. Yeah.
I put it in the wrong way. Let me just fix this here, and then I'll make it easier, I think, for all of us.
So we're still here with you guys.
2:01 a.m. and there'd been a little bit of rain.
We got
some hail, some wind. On social media, we are just full screen page here. If you want to see what's going on, turn on the TV here. We've taken some water at the station. Talk to Darren. He says we are okay here because with the electricity stuff, the water is below that at this point. From an analysis walking through and making sure. So he says we're fine. The water's starting to go down back there too at this point as well. What it is there you can see us on the screen there. What it is that the drain for our building on Green Street, and Marianne was in the back, and she just said that Green Street was flooded, Neal Street was flooded. It was all.
She said there's a vehicle stuck in at Kirby and Neal at the overpass there, the viaduct there. There's a vehicle that was stuck down in there.
So, Jonathan, you just keep showing stuff in the ground here, and say maybe we double box that.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's going to be fun to watch TV the next few days at WCIA with the way things are going. Darren has said that he's getting in contact with folks. He's our master engineer. He's coming to help us out. He's got full team coming in. We don't have anything with our streaming platforms at this point. We can't get video.
Did you ask him about maybe what we could do to reset that?
I did not actually. He's on his way though. He'll be here soon. I'm sure he's flying a safe speed to get here with all the rain he's going through as well. But he'll get here when he gets here. So there's Larry just walked in, our general manager, assessing things and whatnot. The water backed in from the Green Street and the drain here, and all those roads around here were flooded as well. We got in under an hour, 3 inches of rain in parts of Champaign-Urbana. That's enough to do this. The viaducts are underwater. We've got water in the studio. There's water through the whole building too. It's back in the new sales office where they renovated the floors covered.
Goodness.
So it's fine. We'll be fine. We're still going to get TV and shows off.
We didn't lose power, which is what was amazing. I was most concerned about us taking a power hit. The lightning was so intense and whatnot. But we didn't lose power. Instead, we got flooded. And again, a lot of homeowners out there may feel the pain. They've gone through it with either the sump pumps failing or, water, coming in so fast. And that was kind of the case. It came down so heavy out there. We were hearing it for a good amount of time. It was just torrential. And then you threw in hail in there as well. If any leaves and things get clogged in those drains, and it just slows down the process of the water getting drained out there. I will say this, though. This storm that we're still watching, still packing a pretty good punch now from Tuscola to Newman, Seidel, Fairmount. Still seeing, that's still a very intense hill. It's still kind of bowing out a little bit there, which would be an indicator of still some really strong winds. I'm actually seeing those strong winds. Take a look at the velocity.
Towards Broadlands.
Yeah, you can see the velocity on this, which will switch over, and you can kind of see right there where that kind of pink color is. That is indicative of some really strong winds in there that we can click on the little thing and say, hey, what's the radar seeing? And 62, now it's hitting a little bit higher up in terms of, the radar beam itself, but, that can get translated to the surface. And so I think Allerton, Broadlands there, that whole area, really strong winds, and that thing kind of just bowing out a little bit. So this thing isn't really done yet. So just kind of be on the lookout. Seidel, Indianola, southern portions of Vermilion County. Down the line, you got Chrisman there, between Hume, Ridge Farm, Chrisman, that whole area. That thing is sliding south and east. And then we'll watch our guy back here towards Tuscola and Arcola, just going to clip there on the edges of that as well. And then our other storm, Montgomery and Macoupin County, that we're still kind of watching, coming out of Sangamon County. Still that potential there, but wedged in between, there hasn't been a lot. Like we said, we had kind of had a couple of areas. Now, there still are additional storms. Now, here's something to watch through the morning hours that Jacob will kind of take you through the morning is.
Oh, you're leaving me?
Well, for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blame you.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure my car doesn't have hail dents in it, or my house in Mahomet, because really curious to see, what we had back there. The training of cells here that could kind of set up in these same areas, and that could lead to additional flooding. So we're going to have to watch that and see how that kind of plays out as we go throughout tonight. But here's your largest part of the storm. Newman right now getting hit pretty good by this, especially the Broadlands area, and going to be coming right into Seidel, Indianola, southern Vermilion, and the Edgar County line there is where the strongest winds are associated with this, moving to the south and east. Again, we were talking earlier about the flooding there at Kirby and Neal, the underpass there where there was a vehicle that was stuck there a little bit earlier.
We've got some power outages in town also that I've been seeing.
Yeah.
Just seeing more of those coming on in.
Yeah, I pulled up here the Ameren outage map, and we'll plop that back up here as well. And you can kind of see, so here is that map, and I'm going to refresh this here real quick. And so you can kind of see, as we zoom in, there's a bunch of these little green dots show where there are some power outages. They look kind of sporadic in Champaign, but when you come back over here towards Mahomet and Mansfield, when you get into these blue colors, those are higher amounts of people without power. So Mahomet to Mansfield. And again, I tried connecting to my home security cameras, and at least 15 minutes ago was unable to connect. So I'm going to try that again and see if I can get on there. I think, oh, okay. It looks like power may be back on at my house. So that's good. So maybe that was brief. Boy, just a busy night, and still not quite done here yet with these severe storms that are moving through the area here right now. Very strong storm. This thing it's ramping up a little bit, and it is taking on that bow shape. Okay, so here's your really strong winds that come pushing into the storm here. And this is where you're going to have it. The apex of that is where those strong winds are, and where you're going to have possibly those 60-mile-an-hour winds coming into northern Edgar County, right on the Vermilion, Edgar, Douglas, Champaign County line there where the four counties kind of meet. That's going to be an area where we definitely have strong winds rolling through. So again, severe thunderstorm warning continues there. We've been watching the velocity on this here. So we're going to have to start to switch over to possibly the Indianapolis radar, kind of losing the edges of what our velocity kind of picks up here. But there's still some really strong winds right in this area here. Again, that lightning is just constant. It is not stopped. It's just crazy to see all those lightning strikes that are still there. So lightning from Tuscola to Newman, Villa Grove. Quite the little light show along 130 there from Camargo up through the Crittenden area, Broadlands, Murdoch, Newman. Then you go along 36. That whole area there is just quite the light show. So be careful if you're out there tonight with any of this. But this is still a very intense storm. They've still got 60-mile-an-hour winds with this, and the potential for some of that hail to show up. Did we get any other picture? No, it looks like
I've had a few. Have you had some?
I'm just now kind of looking.
I've been just sitting here trying to figure out what to do. Like,
yeah,
the water has gone down in here. I will say
the water has gone down.
That's good.
So I did get a little video. Let's see if I have my email pulled up here. I don't. I'll try to fire that up here in just a second. Boy, that storm was quite intense, not just from the lightning standpoint, the rain, but like it was loud.
Yeah, my favorite was the lightning. I mean, it'd been a while since we had a good thunder boomer like that.
Well, there was so much so that even you wouldn't go outside.
No, and then when the water started flowing in,
then yeah, it was like we're here. But we're here. The studio is intact. We are still on the air. We still have issues with our online stuff. But.
So Gabrielle Martin, you may know of her. She was a former morning anchor. She actually just emailed me and she said, good job with the morning storms. It's not the first time the studio is flooded. Good luck.
There you go.
So apparently it's done this before, but you're nighttime here.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
It was a little intimidating seeing the water flowing in that back door there. I mean, they had the door closed, but you could see it piling up there.
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's 2:11 a.m. At this point, it's like.
Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to pull up here.
Yeah, I was checking the emails so to see
video. So stand by here, and I'm going to fire up a video from Muhammad.
There we go.
Of some of the hail. You can kind of see it bouncing here, and just give me a second. And
yeah, I don't see it quite yet. Maybe they can bring that full screen. There it is.
You can really see the hail. I mean, those are pretty good size hail stones there falling. Take a look at that. Here, let's replay that. So you can see them. Look at them bouncing off of the table over there. You can kind of see some of these larger ones, and so. I mean, those are definitely quarters at the least. Again, so that's one video that came into us here. And that was in Muhammad earlier. So give me a sec. I'm going to click back over to radar, and then I'm going to see what else that we got sent in to us here. Possibly another movie. This is going to be storm coming through Sedoris. I think that's just some lightning video and whatnot. Let's see here. What else do we got? So again, if you have any pictures or anything, you can send them over to us, and we'd love to see them and any reports that you might have. 2 areas of concern that we are continuing to monitor from Danville. Now Danville to Hume and Newman. Georgetown, again, we were kind of showing you earlier how this whole thing was kind of bowing here a little bit. You can see right there. We just kind of draw the circle along that. And so this bowing segment is where you have the winds that are pushing out ahead and kind of pushing the line out, and really strong winds at that apex of that bow, and where you've got some really intense winds in there. And that's what we've got in terms of that storm there that still has a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it. And those really strong winds rolling across southern portions of Vermilion, northern portions of Edgar County, eastern portions of Douglas County there as well. Very strong storm, still some hail in there. And that thing is diving to the south and to the east. We'll put a little bit of a loop on this again. So there it goes. And so it's going to clip maybe even the northeastern corner of Coles County there, maybe up towards the Oakland area as that comes across.
I think we want to look at Jacksonville real quick. I'd love to get your eyes on that. The storm there, let's see, there's from Girard, and Jacksonville has had multiple large trees over a foot in diameter down, and that storm now is coming through Glenarm. And then if you want to just flip on velocity, I think we're just seeing some distorted values there by Jacksonville. I don't think that's actually the case, but
yeah, that's got to be some distortion.
You know, is that maybe it's trying to I just want to get some analysis from you on that. I don't think that's the case, but I was get a second set of eyes.
I think there's a little distortion showing up there because when you click on reflectivity.
Okay, so yeah, that's separated.
Yeah, there's some separation in there.
There might be some inflow in there, so we may stop and watch that storm. See with thunderstorm warning though for that Jacksonville, that damage reported along 104 to the south and east towards Franklin and Waverly. That storm now over Girard. And, those same areas are going to train with flooding from Springfield south and west. At this point for Champaign County, I think we can give the all clear for Champaign County. Still Douglas, Edgar, Southern Vermilion. But I didn't want to leave folks out in Jacksonville because we're the only ones on air right now at this point, Kevin, from what I could see in the newsroom. So, we'll have viewers from all over that are watching, and even that far west. I know we got folks that watch it in Beardstown and Quincy from that far away. So, that complex of storms still keeping our eyes on.
Yeah, we'll watch that. We'll watch that area there.
Also, we got another cell developing northeast of Gibson City over Melvin on the backside. I don't see any wind with that, but that one might have a little bit of small hail with it. So we'll watch that. That'll be coming towards Paxton and Potomac, Rankin, places like that. Maybe Loda, maybe Buckley is far north there. So we'll kind of watch those areas with that little cell too. But we focus a lot on this because that hits here in Champaign. I just want to make sure we give some love to other folks down there.
For sure.
And whatnot. So I will get some photos here in a little bit, Kevin. So give me a minute or two, and I'll have some photos and videos to share as well.
Yeah, no problem. So again, still just kind of rolling here with you guys here early this morning, 2:16 a.m. We are out here and giving you guys live coverage still because these storms are very strong. And I know a lot of you are waking up in the middle of the night. You're probably going, what is going on? What is happening with these storms? And we want to give you some live coverage here because it can be scary at times. That's actually Danville, and you guys are getting a storm there right now as well. You can see the lightning that is flashing there, the heavy rainfall that is coming down. So Danville starting to get hit by this a little bit more, stretching right there along between Belgium and Westville, 150 there, Georgetown to Ridge Farm. That whole kind of area is bowing out there a little bit. And so we're seeing there on our Danville camera where that lightning, again, which has just been constant out there, is still continuing to move through. The strongest part of that, I think, is still probably going to be coming into the Ridge Farm, between Ridge Farm and Chrisman area here before too long, with some strong winds there in Southern Vermilion County. So if you're watching us down there, you are dealing with some of that here right now. Or your shoes are soaked over there.
They're soaked. You can even see the watermark on they're above my ankles from being in the back room there.
Yeah. So, oh, wow. So
my wife, she's up still. She's bringing some dry shoes before the morning.
I was going to say, you still got the morning show here dry.
Until I bring my rubber boots. I'll probably do the morning show in rubber boots all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the rain has stopped here in Champaign. So there's no rain anywhere here in Champaign County, exception Broadlands area still has some light stuff. But the worst of it here between Danville and stretching down to Georgetown, Newman, and into the Oakland area as well. All right, you got some pictures, and video, and
I got some pictures over here. We got the shoes rolled up right now. That's because of this. This was earlier. The water has come down. At one point, I'd say, Kevin, we had 2-3 inches in here.
At least.
I mean, it was covering the cables in the ground, and it was. Oh, actually, you can see the watermark on the middle pole there. That's probably 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was probably more like 4 inches.
We're about to play the Titanic music if we're really honest. And
All
right, this is what it looked like here. This was also in the back. That's the green screen area back there. That was covered in water coming on up there. This is in the production room that you can see where they're sitting back there, and then this is the newsroom. I mean, the water is flowing through the newsroom back into the sales office and whatnot. So we've taken some water here. It's going down and it's not increasing anymore, it seems, but it's kind of settling in place. It looked like, though, Kevin, I kind of looked down it looked like the basement didn't have anything. I don't think that's connected to the basement over there at all. So maybe there is some in there, but when I looked down the stairs, I didn't see anything. I wasn't going any further down there. But the water kind of flowing in and off the street. This is a view here. A lot of photos and videos coming in. You can see the hail coming down here in town with that wind. Our largest hail reports came from the Mahomet area. That's where my dad was chasing. We talked to him live on TV and live on digital platforms. Right now on digital, you can only hear us. It's just like the radio station, just like the good old days. We're having issues with our digital computers, and I think it's still that way, Kevin. Even with the water going down, our engineering crews are in the building. We're getting all the staff we can to start clearing things out and taking care of what's needed to be done here. Still glitching. We're not going to have that, unfortunately. So you got the local weather leader radio show on digital platforms. Just go to TV. We're on there. And I saw someone say it looked like on our sub channels we were having issues, but on our regular channels we weren't. Whether that's lightning from the transmitter or lightning here or related to the water, that's beyond Kevin and I's pay grade. But we'll be here as long as we can with these storms that are coming on through. This was a look at the lightning. Was just impressive with these storms here. At times it looked like daylight out there, Kevin, and in that back parking lot, you can see things just lit up from all the constant flashes of lightning. We got lots of photos of it. This video caught my attention, came from Leroy, and this was when they said that the wind really picked on up. We were talking about it on our digital platforms, how we started to see that outflow boundary. There was a couple of features we were watching, and things were coming together. And lo and behold, that warning dropped, and we were on air in 30 seconds for that tornado warning because we were watching it. But we gave you extra heads up on digital platforms there. This is a view. This is from Mahomet, some of that hail coming down in town. And you can see it coming on down here. I think the worst of the hail was on 47 North. And there was a tree down. Police are on scene on 47 North in the Illinois 47 North, up by the curves there. You know where that church is, by the Sangamon River Bridge, south of the natural gas tanks that are out there, the natural gas plant. That's about where that tree was down there. And so I think that's up there where the hail is. These are a couple of the photos I got here. That's probably about quarter size, if not a little bit bigger. We had some $50 to ping pong ball size sent in with this one here. Some gnarly looking hail which came on through. And so viewers sending in things like that to us, we appreciate those photos. And then more of the lightning. And the thing about this video I like too, Kevin, you can see the structure.
Yeah, look at the striations.
Yeah. These were some impressive storms that were just electric out there. We had tons of lightning, a lot of instability. Folks were saying they heard the rumbling miles and miles away from this here, just constant noise. You were waking up from it, and that's what it looked like out there from these storms rolling on through. So if we can, real quick, I'm going to switch my phone to radar scope. So if you can bring the camera outside or one of the weather cameras full screen real fast. There we go. There's Neal Street. Looks like the water's down now.
It's coming down here.
Yeah, so that's some good news for us here to keep an eye on these particular storms. So, okay. I think my warning polygons are going to update here. I don't think that's here we go. We're starting to see updates coming here on the quad. Still have severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's go to Macoupin, Montgomery counties. That'll be northeast of Carlinville. There's Route 4 from Auburn to Verdun to Girard. This storm moving to the south and east. We'll stay north of Litchfield, but there's some heavy rain and wind. I think this is a windy storm on I-55 between Litchfield and Springfield. And we pan it a little bit north here to the Auburn exit, Divernon. You've got Farmersville. And then as the storm continues off to the east, Christian County, watching you. I think Taylorville will be the cutoff to the north and east extent for the most part. I think it's from Taylorville south and west towards Morrisonville, Nokomis, perhaps Pana to the south and west where this line of storms is settling on it. Now, there'll still be rain and storms north and east of Taylorville, but that severe threat really would be on that southern side if something happens here. Look at all that rain continuing back to the north and west. Auburn, Chatham, Loami, New Berlin, Curran, then into Jacksonville area. You've got Waverly. You've got the areas here east of Jacksonville. A lot of rain falling very heavy in a short period of time, and more rain coming into Springfield as well. You can see some more of these scattered in nature showers. Lots of lightning, heavy rain with those as well coming in through Sangamon County, but I'm particularly concerned for a corridor of perhaps some enhanced flash flooding. I think along Route 104 from Jacksonville towards Auburn, I-55 south from the Auburn exit, Auburn-Pawnee exit areas. We're going to include Pawnee in that as well. And then off towards Taylorville and Morrisonville. That's setting up in that range for some potentially heavy flash flooding. Look what's further back to the north and west here. We're going to have a long night, what little is left of it here, a morning of these storms continuing on through. I think the severe threat is decreasing with time. We continue to see less and less in the way of warnings. Our watch expires in about an hour and a half from now. But remember, the later we go, we were transitioning away initially from the tornado hail threat to a hail wind threat. We've had that. And then we're seeing more of the array of these training storms bringing the flooding threat here. And that's the case still for us. In fact, they just posted, Kevin, a new warning on this storm up south of Burlington, Iowa, Fort Madison, a severe thunderstorm warning there. That on its trajectory will be coming right through these areas here. Let me just draw a little line here. There you go. Look where it's heading, right behind the storms that are there now. So there'll be some more areas of heavy rain and whatnot that continue to fall here for the next several hours. That, to me, is the zone where I'm concerned for flooding here. Jacksonville, Springfield, Taylorville, Litchfield, Carlinville, areas in between that zone, what we anticipate.
Yeah, and they put out a mesoscale precipitation discussion concerning that area where they think that that is going to continue.
Some flooding. So we'll have a lot more issues, I think, than we are here in town. We just got 2-3 inches in 30, 45 minutes here. I mean, it was coming down in Champaign-Urbana. That heavy rain and storms. Now let's talk about where those storms are. Arcola, Charleston. There we go. Crispin, Paris, Georgetown. In fact, Kevin, we might get a look at the Charleston camera. That looks to the north, kind of at the tail end of this storm. It's going to be from Oakland in the northeastern part of Coles County. There's probably some fairly substantial hail there. From Charleston north and east. This will be coming towards Paris. Some of those little towns out there. You've got Redmond, Brockton, Kansas. There's Oakland, into Edgar County, Crispin, Paris, heading your way. And are we seeing much lightning on that?
Nah, I'm not seeing much.
Really?
That's pointed west, so.
I think that Charleston one's actually pointed north, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
Mattoon one looks west. But still, I don't see any lightning on that, so maybe it's somewhat coming down, but then again, the lightning is probably further to the north and east, and so maybe we're just not able to see it. That's okay. In southern Vermilion County now, the storm is exiting to the south and east of Ridge Farm. Vermilion County will give you an all clear for the severe weather threat. Douglas County will give you an all clear for the severe weather threat. Now mainly far northeastern Coles and Edgar County for this particular storm here. This storm up here as well, right over Loda, Buckley, there might be some small hail in that. That continues to come on through. And as I loop this here, you'll see that storm kind of moving to the south and east. Rankin, Hoopston, Armstrong, Potomac, Bismarck, Rossville. That one probably stays maybe just north of Danville. Sista Park also, I think, is going to get on some of that here. Small hail, nothing substantial at this point. And then with these storms here, this seems to be a rain threat for me, with maybe still some chances for hail and wind in this area here. So we'll watch and keep an eye on it. As far as velocity goes here, I don't see anything concerning at this point majorly. We've got some wind in there, and there's some signs of some inflow, but likely at this point, we're probably seeing not much more than 50, 60 mile an hour gusts. As we go later and later, we lose that instability. With these storms down here, though, Crispin, be interested to hear if there's any reports from the Crispin area. There might be some strong winds there. Of course, that radar beam sampling a little higher there, just because of how far it is. You got to go from Crispin to Lincoln, and that's no spring pickle when you talk about a drive. But the radar right over Crispin here at this point shows some of the strong winds there. And if I sample that, just kind of see here what it looks like. You were kind of in the range of 50, 60 mile an hour, maybe a little higher than that, although we're higher up on this scan. So we'll say 50, 60 is probably an upper limit at this point. That's still enough to cause some damage, trees, power lines, things like that. More of that strong wind towards Oakland as these storms are pushing on through. But we'll be interested to hear if there's any reports on the ground from that. And I'll switch back to our other radar just to get a different view on it. Again, some strong winds coming in Oakland, Brockton, Redmond, and then up here, northern Edgar County, Crispin. That's that storm that came through here, this core right there. You see this purple? That's just some clutter from the radar because of how far away it is. But we know Crispin off to the east towards Scotland, and east of Crispin, where we'll have some of that wind coming on through, and that's about to carry off into Indiana. At this point, Kevin, we're kind of looking at things and watching, keeping an eye on it. Starting to see dry ground in the studio.
With a lot of debris.
Yeah, we got leaves. There's
I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff here.
There's a floss picker that just kind of.
That's great.
Who knows where this came from? Somebody, makeup counter.
Oh, boy.
I think what else? And I'm wondering if maybe some pizza rolled on.
Yeah, it's some food.
Right. We're watching these storms, Kevin, and I think today was about as forecasted.
Oh, yeah.
That severe threat, we thought maybe we could get the chance for a tornado or two. We had the warning in Leroy and Farmers City. Leroy, there may have been some damage there. Trees down, semi rolled over. I'm starting
to get in power outages now from Ameren, and they are extensive in the Mansfield to Mahomet area. Let me try to pull this back up here again. The Ameren outage map there. So they go by the different colors that pop up there. And so you got the green, then you got the blue. Well, now there's this orange one, and give me like 2 seconds here. The orange one there. Now this little orange dot doesn't mean it's that exact area. It's kind of a loosely kind of defined area, but that orange, and you click on it, it's 734 customers without power, and that's quite a bit because that's customers, that's not people. You have 4 people in a house, you're talking maybe 2,000 people there that could be impacted. So that probably is the Mansfield Mahomet area. That whole area there's going to be a lot of spots probably that are without power according to just the Ameren outage map there. And then of course that stretches south and east there. You can see exactly where this whole line went. As it dove south and east through Bloomington and Normal. I mean, it's almost like it rode I-74 and down through, but definitely right now it does look like the Mahomet Mansfield area has some of the highest customers that are without power.
Yeah, I've got some additions to that, Kevin. The total numbers, including some of the other places like Corn Belt Energy, McLean County, 2,444 customers out. Hyatt County, 606. Champaign County, 1,344. DeWitt County, 24. 62 in Livingston County, and then Morgan County from the Jacksonville area, 1,279. So there's also outages out there from Ameren and Illinois Electric Cooperative as these storms continue on through. It usually is a little delayed if there's any power down or things of that from these storms rolling on by, say in Edgar and Douglas County. It'll take some time for those numbers to populate, but it wouldn't surprise me if we had more come that way, Kevin.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, all along this whole line, there's still that potential. That storm going to be coming into Paris here before too long. It's still a hail core, a little bit of a hail core there near Redmond and stretching down towards the Ashmore area in far eastern Coles County. And so this thing is going to be skirting through Edgar County here before too long and making an impact there. Again, I know you haven't seen much there in Decatur and, say Sullivan, even Monticello. You guys missed out on this as that storm was just to your north and east. But we're concerned still about this heavy rainfall threat that stretches back here between Jacksonville down to Taylorville there, Morrisonville area, because then there's a line of storms that are still developing. And it's interesting, they're still popping warnings with the storms here into Iowa with that line. It's 2:30 in the morning and there's still severe thunderstorm warnings with that. So we're going to have to watch this corridor through here through early this morning. And then again, we're still mainly focused on our storm here into Edgar County, moving through Ashmore to Redmond and then Paris, knocking on your doorstep here next. I have a feeling that the Weather Service probably is going to go out tomorrow. They're going to go survey probably over towards Leroy because from all indications, from what I've learned radar wise, there was probably a brief tornado there that occurred southeast of Leroy, and so they'll assess some of the damage probably tomorrow and confirm with that. Now, probably was not a real strong tornado, but enough to do some damage there. Talked about the semi over there on 74, and that would line up pretty close to where some of that circulation was earlier. But right now, that Redmond area, hail core coming across and pretty intense storm that's over there right now, Jacob.
Yeah, I was just wanting to check, and maybe you can help peek with me, Kevin. I know one issue we have in Edgar County, we use the Lincoln radar. The radar shoots so high up. We start to see a little pocket of green in here east of Redmond, and I'm trying to take a look at where that sits on radar. And almost right here, I see a little notch in there to the east of Redmond. Now, again, we're sampling, I don't know if this will tell me how high it is, but it's several thousand feet up at this point. And maybe you can kind of fill in on that number, Kevin. Just kind of,
it's shooting about 7,000
7,000 feet. So, kind of looking at that and wondering what that is. And there may be an issue for, some sort of I'm going to say rotation, but an updraft that's strong aloft. And so that may be some concern for Paris here. This storm seems to pulse up, pulse down, pulse up, pulse down. And so if we get a little bit of an updraft in there that can help out, if that may be what in fact that is, it's hard to tell here. Kind of looping and watching. And at this point, we can do this because it's 2:30 in the morning. I would say at the minimum, there's some strong wind and perhaps some hail from Redmond to the south and west towards Kansas. And that will probably come through Paris and points to the south. And eventually that's going to head down to Terre Haute. I think once it gets past Paris, we'll pass the coverage off to our station, sister station WTWO in Terre Haute. And maybe they'll be keeping updated online there. But that also might be making even a little more southerly jog there. That takes it more towards Marshall. The other thing that seems to be happening is it's just kind of messy up in there. And I wonder here at this point, maybe that's a sign that we've still got some strong winds and some hail that are very much possible in those areas. So Redmond to Paris and Kansas and points, those areas that this might be interesting to hear if there's any reports that sneak on in from that. Let's go back to the west, check out those storms, make sure we're good here. Taylorville, rain now from Taylorville proper to the south and west. Morrisonville, Raymond, as well as to the west on 104, goes through Kincaid, San Cruz Lake, Pawnee, Auburn. A little bit of a dry spot in Girard and Farmersville. There's more coming, though. Heavy rain continuing in Auburn and along 104 back towards Waverly. Looks like Jacksonville's getting some clear time now, but there may be some more rain that fills on in. In fact, coming in from Havana here, some outflow-driven storms, meaning I don't see any rotation there. I think they're just windy and rainy more than anything. That might fill back into Decatur area before long if it keeps the southeast track. These storms up here, though, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, a pair of them now filling in on storms from Fort Madison to Burlington, Keokuk, Iowa, moving to the south and east. So we may still have to deal with at least rain and storms for those hours there as we continue to watch. But let me see here if I can get some storm total accumulations on this as well. Look at this heavy core. In fact, look at this, Kevin. From Bloomington here, some of those totals, when you start getting yellows on there, that's 3+ inches. And that's about where 165 and Route 9 meet up there south of Myrna. Probably some flooding. That was, you can see the path of that one strong storm that came on through and continued in. According to this in the Champaign-Urbana area, we're in the 2+ range in some of these little pixels when you query them. And we've seen that as well in our storm tracker Doppler in the area. Reports of some of the viaducts, of course, underwater. We took water here. It happened because it happened so quickly, less than an hour, several inches. Look at these rainfall totals back towards Springfield. It would not shock me at some point to see flash flood warnings fill in from Jacksonville to the south and east of Springfield towards Auburn and places like that. We've got some pockets in there of 2-3 inches of rain, and that may be a concern for some flooding in those areas. And so we'll watch and keep a very close eye on that here over the next little bit. A little bit dry time there now, so maybe the water will drain away. At a minimum, there's some ponding on the roadways at this point with the heavy rainfall rates that continue on through. So those are the storms we're watching. At this point, I don't see any signs of hail. I don't really see much in the way of any circulations either. I think they're just noisy storms that folks are waking up there from Springfield towards Taylorville. And of course, if these storms exit here from Edgar County at this point, east of Charleston, Edgar County pretty much is where we're at. All clear, Douglas, Champaign, Vermilion from these particular storms. Still kind of watching, we may get a couple more storms that fire up here and behind them as well. So that's what we got. Kevin, I don't know what the plan is at this point.
Probably
watch those storms a little bit longer, get them out.
Just a little bit. We'll just kind of watch that storm kind of go through Paris there, and then probably send things back to programming here in just a little bit. And they got to get ready for the morning show and whatnot.
CBS has a special report also. So that's actually good programming notice. The morning show will not be on CBS; it will actually be on X49, and there'll be a crawl during the Queen's funeral, saying, hey, come watch us over there. You want our local news, just come on over to X49. We'll be there for the morning show starting at 5 a.m.
That's in 2 hours and 20 minutes, Jacob. So
and we still got a little water.
Still gotta change your shoes and socks out there.
Checking my wife's.
Yeah, I hope she brought breakfast too.
I prepared for that.
There you go. Well, you're up on screen there.
Yeah,
so, So we're watching our storms here. We're going to be wrapping up coverage here. I appreciate everybody that kind of stuck with us. Things got a little crazy there for a period of time as we were getting flooded in the studio here. But things have improved a little bit. But yeah, so that storm coming into Paris right now, we're just going to kind of get you through there, the Ashmore to Paris area. And then as that kind of scoots out, we can hand off coverage there to our sister station down in Terre Haute. So I will say this, so Jacob is going to be updating you and keep you updated on this stuff here coming out.
Yeah,
North of Queen City. Yeah, he'll be here. So we're going to have to watch this corridor. We've talked about this several times, but the repeated areas of training of thunderstorms here, a lot of heavy rainfall that's going on. There's actually a front. There's a boundary that's actually going to set up across the state tomorrow. And the temperature ranges across the state tomorrow are huge, especially for this time of the year. It may hit 80 for a high in northern Illinois. I think I saw like a 97 in southern Illinois for a high tomorrow. 97 degrees down there. So there's going to be a huge difference there from north to south in terms of what the temperatures are going to be like tomorrow as that front kind of sets up across the middle part of the state tomorrow. So that boundary is also what's helping to focus these storms to kind of come over the same areas one after another. Hey, Darren, well, you're here. This is just a question. I don't know what this is a result of, but what would make our that's doing that? I don't know. There's some kind of that's coming.
It's our switcher coming that goes into
the switcher
stream
goes into the stream computer. Is there a converter or something back there that may have done that? I don't know. We couldn't figure it out, but that's
we know you have bigger problems, but
yeah. No, I got you. Well, those of you that have been on the live stream and whatnot, again, we just the videos. Is it going out that way? Yeah, that's because so we had to put up like a full screen because that's the video that's coming into the computer.
It's fine here at the switcher. So from the switcher and the cameras are all plugging in there.
So getting to this computer.
Yeah, getting into that. So yeah, I'm not really sure what that was, but again, this is for our live stream that we've been doing online.
Still on TV.
We're still doing the TV thing for those, but just to kind of explain to some of the people that have been watching on the stream, and that started as soon as the flooding happened. So I don't know if it's a converter.
I think we had a fish coming in through here too.
There might have been a fish. So yeah. So that's kind of what we've been dealing with here. Again, the studio here, as you can see from above, we had some of that water that kind of came in. So we were just trying to fix things up here in terms of getting through the rest of the night. In those storms, there's still that severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect there into Vermilion County, or I should say Edgar County there, and running there to the south and to the east. It's fine. You got other things to worry about. It's no big deal. We appreciate everybody that did hang with us on the live stream there. And there's still there's 100 people out there still watching here. Getting reports of power out in Urbana. I'm just going to read some of these messages here because I haven't looked at these in a while. Power out in Urbana, quieting down in Oakwood, quiet in Mansfield, but no power. Again, we talked about, I think, the Mansfield to Muhammad area got hit there with that storm pretty good. Let's see, heck of a light show in Metcalf, we were told. Thunder in Georgetown, loud thunder out there. So a lot of the similar reports kind of coming into us here all night long, as Lionel Richie would say. That storm there going to be coming into Clark County here before too long as well. Northern portions of Clark County. So Marshall to, what's going to be north of Casey. But Marshall, you're probably going to get hit by that as that kind of dives to the south of these. That's heading towards Terre Haute there as well. Again, that storm heading into Indiana here before too long as well. So again, we are going to be wrapping things up here before too long with the coverage here and kind of sending things back to the regular programming. So we'll just kind of give everybody a heads up that we're most likely going to be doing that here in the next few minutes or so.
I'll kind of walk people through it the next couple hours, Will, and that'll set us up for the morning show also. So if you give me a second, I'm almost.
Yeah, you're fine. So again, the storms that are still left out there, a heavy rainfall threat is definitely going to be with us. But right now, the big concern, the largest concern, is still with our storm that's diving south and east through Edgar County, Paris to Westfield, and we're going to be clipping northern portions of Clark County here before too long as well. But we've got several areas that are seeing quieter weather than others. It's kind of interesting, the two corridors that really got it from Jacksonville, kind of south of Springfield, and then from Bloomington right into Champaign County, the two corridors where we had storms here tonight. But we're not done in terms of rain here overnight, but not everyone is going to see that rainfall here. And you can talk about what to expect here over the next couple hours here, Jacob.
Yeah, so you look at radar you just saw there, then you look at future track and how it initializes, where it places those storms. 2 o'clock, you got the cluster here from Champaign to the south and east. You've got all these storms in Springfield, even picking up on those storms northwest Illinois, southeast Iowa. So I think this is a good, reliable model if we're looking at things here. We'll take it hour by hour. By 3 to 4, notice those storms start moving south and east. Still a lot of rain and storms from Mason County through Springfield, Lincoln, Taylorville, Decatur, Jacksonville. I won't rule you out. And then it continues to the southeast. Now, this batch is on its way out and weakens into Indiana. You'll see here, look at there's 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8. A lot of rain and storms continuing. We'll be probably talking about that through the morning show. It would not surprise me from Effingham to Springfield how many times we've said that corridor for heavy rain and storms here with flooding potential. That may very well be the case, maybe as far north as Matthew, Charleston, Decatur, and Lincoln. More than likely, Champaign-Urbana, we're done with the severe weather and the heavy rain. We still might get a few scattered storms to roll on through, but by 9, 10 in the morning, then things looking a lot better there. Maybe a few stray showers and that boundary will be in place, which we'll talk about. But overall, things looking a lot drier for the day, which will be good. There'll probably be some cleanup. Look at this, Kevin. You have this photo. Justin sent this to us, and he's from the Mahomet area, and that's some big hail there. That could be golf ball. It's not a little bit bigger than that. And that's some gnarly looking hail that my dad was driving through, and we talked to him also. You could hear the thunk.
I want to know, did his vehicle take any hail damage?
He's back in Gibson, so I haven't heard exactly yet.
A couple of dents.
He said he made it back to Gibson just fine. I'm sure he's going to go to bed. He'll worry about it in the morning. To be honest, Kevin, there's still some nicks in the truck as well from the hurricane. We got Hurricane Matthew there, so that truck's have some battle scars. A few more hail dents won't hurt it. But that came in from the Mahomet area, and we were concerned about that for sure. Coming into Champaign-Urbana, we had some hail. I haven't had any big reports anywhere in town yet. I don't think you have either, Kevin. But
no, I didn't get too many big ones in Champaign. And
I saw up to quarter in town.
Yeah, nothing bigger than that. The biggest definitely was there in Mahomet. And that picture, that confirmed that. That definitely looks like that's at least 1.5.
Yeah,
that's definitely at least 1.5 there.
So we've had that ping pong ball, the golf ball size hail that came on through here, and we were worried about that with some of those storms. There's the severe thunderstorm watch. Want to mention it does go until 4 a.m. Interestingly enough, the National Weather Service has not dropped counties further to the west behind these storms. That's because they're watching these storms up here. They'll probably keep it. There's a chance we may see a localized extension of that watch for time. It may go a little later into the morning here. We did drop for Livingston, Ford, and Iroquois counties. We did, though, add Vermilion and Edgar. And that happened in the middle of all the muck going on here at the TV station. But still, our severe threat is waning. It's not over. We really think it's the heavy rain threat at this point that's going to be the biggest concern for us as we continue to watch these storms rolling on through. So another check here of radar real fast where these storms are now. They're coming through Paris now. So once they get through Paris here, they're moving quick to the south and east. We'll be dropping from coverage here. Looks like we got some light rain. And then still seeing heavy rain and some thunder. I don't see much in the way of hail. There might be a little mixed in. Core from Taylorville to Litchfield, another south of Springfield, southern Sangamon County. That might be from Pawnee and Auburn over towards Waverly. And then we will keep an eye from behind the scenes then on storms here in northwest Illinois and watch things as we toss back from coverage. So in the back there, I think they're going to make a call,
yep.
Kevin.
I think we're good. So we're going to.
So if they need a time, maybe 2:50.
Yeah, we're going to be wrapping up here right at. We'll wrap it up at 2:50 on the dot there for those back in the hub. And as we send things back to coverage, but a long night, noisy night for many out there, of course. With the potential of a tornado southeast Leroy, the hail that came through, very heavy rainfall, flooding potential, lightning, and Jacob is going to be on the morning show. But again, explain to people, you're going to catch him on the morning show that's on the X.
That's right. It's going to be the X49 because we've got CBS special report for the Queen. And if there's a reason we need to cut and weatherize, we will. But our morning show is regular format on the X49. So you can jump over there. If you're watching CBS, you see special report, you'll see that crawl at the bottom of the screen reminding, and I'll have an article up at some point, and we'll dry out from there. So,
well, that's the key thing is drying out for everybody here.
Yeah, grab some shoes.
So yeah, there you go. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up coverage here. We appreciate everybody tuning in with us as well. For meteorologist Jacob Dickey, your entire production crew that got us for this one, thanks to everybody tuning in here. Stay safe out there. Again, tune back into the morning show at 5 a.m. Have a good rest of your morning. I've seen water.